Joining me now is Fawaz Gerges, Professor of International Relations with the London School of Economics. We've reached him via Skype from London. All right, this news just broke. What kind of reaction are you having? I mean, are you surprised by Saudi Arabia's decision?
No, I'm not surprised, Asha. The situation is very volatile. There is all-out war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. The situation is spiraling out of control. The execution of Sheikh Namr, who was a Shia dissident in Saudi Arabia, has really aggravated the situation inside the Saudi kingdom and relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran. My fear is that the next few weeks and next few months will most likely witness qualitative escalation. We already have wars by proxies in Syria, in Iraq, in Yemen, in Lebanon, in Bahrain. This particular development, the rupture of diplomatic relations, could easily really, bring about very dramatic escalations in relation not only between Saudi Arabia, Sunni-dominated Saudi Arabia and Shia-dominated Iran, but also it will likely play out throughout the streets of the Middle East.
This is all speculation at this point, but when you say an escalation, what are we talking about?
Well, Asha, we already have wars by proxies in Syria, in Iraq, in Yemen. I mean, all-out war. And wars by proxies basically led on the one side by Saudi Arabia, on the other side by Iran. We were hoping that somehow a diplomatic solution could be found to the Syrian crisis. As you know, in the next few weeks, the international community was hoping to bring the combatants into the United Nations and find a solution. Forget about it. We were hoping that the Yemeni war, this has been taking place for almost 10 months, a solution could be found to prevent the expansion of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula and Yemen, to prevent the breakdown of the state in Yemen. Forget about it. Now you might find more escalation in Lebanon, in Bahrain, in Gulf states, because this is not only a geostrategic struggle between the two most powerful states in the Gulf, Saudi Arabia and Iran. It has major sectarian reverberations between Shiite Muslims and Sunni Muslims, and unfortunately this creeping sectarianism is poisoning the veins of Arab politics and Muslim politics.
And let's talk about the West. Could this have an impact in the West as well?
Well, Asha, ISIS, or the so-called Islamic State, would not have done as well as it has without basically exploiting this particular war by proxies, without depicting itself as the defender of the Sunnis against the Shiites. So the escalation of sectarian tensions between Sunni Muslims and Shiite Muslims basically plays into the hands of ISIS, of Al-Qaeda, of militant groups. And yes, it could affect the security not only in the Middle East, but also the global system. We know there's an organic link between what happens in the Middle East and what happens in the West, as we have seen in Paris and the United States and Australia and Canada and other places.
And it doesn't seem like there could be any clear-cut, immediate solution here, because both sides are just so strong on what they're believing and their arguments.
You're really asking a very important question. What's really alarming is not only the indirect confrontation between Saudi Arabia and Iran in the last 5-6 years in the Middle East. What's alarming now, there is no neutral third party that could mediate between the two regional powers. The United States and the Western powers are not trusted by either Saudi Arabia and Iran. Turkey now has taken the side of Saudi Arabia. What we are seeing in the region now is really deepening polarization between two camps. On the one hand, you have Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Qatar. On the other hand, you have Iran, Iraq, and Syria. And this particular situation is basically pouring gasoline on a raging fire, and there is no mediation. And this is really what makes the situation very dangerous. And this is why any kind of further escalation could easily have major impact on regional security and global security as well.
Well, we most definitely will be monitoring the developments in this situation as it's ongoing, but thank you for your insight, Fawaz.
Pleasure.
That's Fawaz Gerges, Professor of International Relations with the London School of Economics.